65 million years ago, the Earth is ruled by dinosaurs. Then, a killer from deep space threatens the future of every living creature on the planet, including the dinosaurs, who had ruled Earth for over 150 million years. Mass extinctions are a brutal part of our past and could be part of our future. Now, witness a never-before-seen account of Day 1 in a catastrophe that forced every species on Earth to fight for their own survival, even the powerful dinosaurs. You are about to experience the most shocking 24 hours in the history of planet Earth. Doomsday on Animal Armageddon. Death Doesn't Bargain. August Strindberg, 1900. This is planet Earth, 65 million years ago. In just 3 days, a terrifying executioner, an asteroid 6 miles wide, traveling over 20,000 miles per hour, will strike the planet like a sledgehammer. If this killer hit us today, civilization would disappear. Lucky for us, it happened when dinosaurs ruled the world. Dinosaurs are the biggest creatures the Earth has ever known. They lived on every continent all over the world. They came in a dizzying variety of predators and plant eaters.
So I sense if we were able to go back then, let's imagine that we have a really cool airplane. And as long as you fly mile after mile after mile, herds of giant animals, dinosaurs.
In North America, they're hunted by the most fearsome dinosaur of all, Tyrannosaurus rex. High above central Mexico, giant pterosaurs, called Quetzalcoatlus, soar majestically on thermal drafts. And off the coast of Europe, marine reptiles stalk schools of ammonites, shelled creatures the size of tractor tires.
The dinosaurs were doing extremely well. We had huge dinosaurs throughout every continent. They were common in the tropics, they were common in the subtropics, they even made it up into the Arctic.
No creatures could challenge the dominion of the dinosaurs. Least of all, our own early ancestors, tiny mammals like Purgatorius, who hide in dark burrow holes.
Dinosaurs and mammals appeared on Earth at approximately the same time, and that's something that often gets forgotten. So the entire time, the entire 163 million years that there were dinosaurs, there were also mammals. But mammals, for whatever the reasons, remained very, very small. Whereas your smallest dinosaur, including tail, is probably something like 4 feet, say the size of a Cornish hen, mammals were mouse-sized.
But the balance of power is about to shift, suddenly and completely, in an event known to scientists as the Cretaceous Tertiary, or KT extinction.
The KT extinction was the worst day in Earth history. This was a day, an entire era, filled with thousands, millions of species, comes to an end abruptly.
The leading theory suggests the extinction was caused by the impact of a large asteroid or comet. If it was an asteroid, it would have originated in the asteroid belt, a cold region just beyond the orbit of Mars, where thousands of these giant space rocks reside. The asteroid's size is beyond imagination. It's the length of the San Francisco city limits, and its mass equals that of all the materials for every building in the entire United States.
The best analogy I've heard of is that it's a hunk of ice and rock that is the size and maybe even the shape of Mount Everest. So imagine that you have a great model of the Earth and you've got a little X-Acto knife and you've got a little Mount Everest and you cut it off and cut it off and cut it off. And then you're up there in space and you throw it at the Earth, bang!
The physics of disaster are set. This is the last normal day on Earth. In 24 hours, the dinosaurs will meet their end, and you will be there with them. In Alaska, a herd of duck-billed hadrosaurs voraciously eat their way through a lush forest, blissfully unaware of the pain to come. They're giant animals, each one the length of 3 cars and twice as tall as a man. They use their beaks like salad tongs to pluck the leaves at the tops of trees. They pass the vegetation to the back of their mouths, where 1,600 overlapping teeth act like a cheese grater to shred tough-to-digest pine needles. They hoot through inflatable sacs built into their noses, ghostly booms that sound almost like a wood bassoon.
The head structures that you see on duckbills, in combination with the herding behavior, imply a very, very strong social interaction in these dinosaurs. And interestingly enough, the closest living relative to dinosaurs, which are birds, of course have all those things very strongly built into their behavior.
They're hungry creatures, too busy to notice the glimmer of light dancing in the air, a fragment of the killer asteroid streaking through the sky, and just as deadly. Suddenly, the herd stampedes, shrieking with fear, trampling whatever is in their way.
It would be absolutely terrifying. You have animals going crazy, the herd is going to take on a herd mentality, and naturally there's going to be panic and there's going to be trampling.
If a fragment can create this kind of destruction, the impact of the entire asteroid is unfathomable. No one knows if dinosaurs had any idea their end was near. But even if they did, what could they have done? Nothing. It is now 12 hours before impact. You are witnessing a typical scene in North America, 65 million years ago. This is modern-day Montana. The animals here have no idea that a fragment has just struck in Alaska. 2 troodons are on the hunt. They set their sights on a young hadrosaur. Troodons are small but vicious, more than capable of taking down large prey. Troodon is just 3 feet tall, but one of the most intelligent dinosaurs of all time. They may have hunted in packs, like wolves, using a razor-sharp toe claw to rip and eviscerate their prey. But just when the troodons set into their meal, a T-Rex emerges into the clearing. The awesome beast is as long as a tennis court and weighs 16,000 pounds, as much as an African elephant.
Our biggest predators on the planet today, the lions, maybe the really big tigers, these are tiny compared to a T-Rex.
I've been on the ground around big cats like pumas, and it's incredible how big they are and how aware you are of how small and weak and defenseless you are. Now imagine an animal that's the size of an elephant that has a head as long as a human being that is used to eating thousands of pounds of meat in a day. I can't even imagine how horrifying that would be.
T-Rex's mouth is designed for a single purpose: to kill and eat prey. Its powerful jaws can puncture its victim with over 10,000 pounds of force, enough to bite through flesh and easily crush bone.
T-Rex, in an ecological sense, was a walking meat cookie cutter. T-Rex had a mouth that's shaped like a U, and it had teeth with flat edges around the front to just reach in and take out big scoops of meat.
He cannot chew, and instead swallows his food whole, gulping down over 150 pounds of meat in a single bite. But it won't be enough to sustain him. Not through what's coming. Much of what we know about Tyrannosaurus rex and other North American dinosaurs comes from an area known as the Hell Creek Formation. Today it is a remote wilderness in the Badlands of Montana and North Dakota. In the Cretaceous, it was a vast alluvial plain teeming with dinosaurs.
For 3 million years, streams were depositing sediments. During their flood stages, they would have clays and muds forming all over the floodplain deposit. And what we see now are the soils that were laid down, that were deposited during that 2 to 3 million years, starting from the bottom, just one soil after another coming up to the top. And the dinosaurs and the plants were doing very well for those final 2 million years of the Cretaceous.
T-Rex is king of the Hell Creek. For days now, sleep patterns worldwide have been disturbed by the constant glow from the strange light in the sky. It's the dinosaurs' only clue that the life they've known for over 150 million years will soon be over. The kingdom of the dinosaurs has just 5 hours left. This is Ground Zero. Ironically, it isn't on the ground at all. Today, it is the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. The sea here will be obliterated first, along with the teeming life and violent drama that exists below the surface.
If we were a diver, luckily enough to be there, we wouldn't have seen the schools of fish that we know now. We would have seen schools of fish and schools of ammonites, these beautiful chambered cephalopods, like squids stuffed in a big shell. The living nautilus is the closest relative. So we see schools of these in among the fish. And then diving among them all, we see the marine reptiles.
The most feared marine reptile is the mosasaur. The mosasaur is a voracious predator, nearly 50 feet long and weighing 20 tons. It used an excellent sense of smell to track its prey slowly and deliberately.
I don't think it's reasonable to say that the latest Cretaceous seas were more dangerous than modern seas, but I have to tell you that an animal like a mosasaur would be a very formidable predator, certainly as formidable as a great white or a killer whale. And I, for one, would not like to be the seal in the latest Cretaceous waiting to be served up to one of those animals.
Mosasaurs prefer the slow-moving ammonites. Today, however, he needs to hurry. From the moment the asteroid appears in the sky above, he'll have mere seconds to finish his meal before he's destroyed. On a coastline not far from what will be Ground Zero, These Phobosuchus have only seconds to live. These giant saltwater crocodiles are 40 feet long and can stand eye to eye with a full-grown man. Little do they know, planet Earth has just 10 seconds left. Seconds, the asteroid, 1,000 billion tons of it, is completely vaporized.
We're talking about something that's traveling at many miles per second. So basically what happens is that the 6-mile-wide asteroid becomes entirely vaporized and becomes a 6-mile-wide bomb.
It gouges a hole 30 miles deep, as far underground as any plane has flown above the Earth. The energy is so great, the solid rock of the Earth's crust is acting like a liquid. The same dynamics are at work when a stone is thrown into a puddle of water.
You calculate the energy involved and it's 100 million megatons, where 1 megaton is an average-size hydrogen bomb, 100 million average-size hydrogen bombs going off all at once. The energy released is colossal.
The impact is even visible from the moon.
We are talking a disaster that out-disasters anything Hollywood could even imagine.
In a split second, all the water in a 100-mile radius flashed to steam, annihilating millions of animals instantly.
Anything that was within a few dozen kilometers of the impact, they would be completely unaware that anything had ever happened. The shock wave would hit them on a time scale that is much too fast for nerve cells to respond. They'd be there and then gone.
For them, death is merciful. They are the lucky ones. Anything within a 250-mile radius of the impact dies instantaneously. Further out, they would have seen a bright flash of light. But did they realize they were marked for destruction? Just 3 seconds after the impact, a superheated cloud of rock vapor rushes outward from ground zero at hypersonic speeds. The shock wave. The coast of Texas is just 2 minutes away. The entire continent of North America is next. At supersonic speeds, the shock wave spreads to the northwest due to the angle at which the asteroid hit. It thunders towards the coast of the United States.
And now the shockwave would have been like a freight train just blowing right by and right through these dinosaurs.
As much as 3 minutes after the impact, animals in Texas may not have known anything was wrong, or that they would soon be incinerated. These foraging hadrosaurs may have had only a moment to think about the glowing sky and the rumbling in the distance. Then their thoughts would have been obliterated, along with flesh and bone. further inland, these pterosaurs, called Quetzalcoatlus, have ruled the skies for many millennia.
These things would have been incredible flyers. But here's an animal with a wingspan of 45 feet. A Piper cub, which holds 2 human beings comfortably and flies around, has a wingspan of 36 feet. So does it require a landing strip? How does it take off? How does it land? Where does it live? Those are all questions that are just completely up in the air. Unfortunately, they're not particularly well fossilized because their bones are so fragile.
So if we look at birds, we can look for clues to what their lifestyle was like. And the one group of birds that has that same combination of features is storks. And most storks